right now. What do you think about all these people in the audience that are up here for you guys?
I'm speechless.
I agree.
I'm a salient virgin, no more. I think it's wonderful. It's wonderful to see you all, and it's very heartwarming, and I don't know what else. It's wonderful.
Yeah, what movie do you guys want to talk about?
So Joseph, this is your very first convention ever. That blew my mind. You've never been at a convention before as a guest?
This is correct. Yes, the two of us have never done it.
And this is the first time in the USA for you.
Yeah, first time in the US for me. I've been in a couple of conventions overseas, but this is my first convention here, so
So how cool is that? So are you guys going to make sure that they have the best convention experience ever? Come on, Spookala audience, what do you think?
It's a lot of pressure for you guys, okay? Gotta come through.
But see, now the pressure's on them and it takes all the
Exactly, I
pressure.
feel fine now. Let me put my feet on the table.
All right, so for each one of the three of you guys, when you're handed the script for this little movie about dinosaurs, did you ever think that decades later you'd be sitting in front of a crowd like this, cheering you guys at this rate when you got the script? Was there any thought in your mind that something insane like that could possibly ever happen?
With you?
Well, with me? You can include me in this, and it's been period.
You, I knew you were going to be a part of.
Yes.
The rest, I wasn't sure.
No, not at all.
No.
I think while we were doing it, I was working on the movie, there was this growing sense that the movie was something that everyone was talking about, and that it became a bigger and bigger deal as we were working on it, but I had no concept of this at all.
Yeah, and I don't know about you, but I didn't see a formal script in the beginning of Jurassic. I mean, it was so cryptic. It was all secretive, and I was told to take a look at the book. So I read the book by Michael Crichton first and got a sense of that, and just auditioned with the bare minimum of notes. So just imagine you're there with a dinosaur screaming, and that was the audition initially.
No, I had that too.
Yeah, I was oblivious to everything. I was 8 years old. I could hardly read. I can still hardly read. If you've seen me sign, you can tell. Yeah, for me, even meeting Steven, I met Steven on the set of Radio Flyer, which I did before that. And thank you, hey, Radio Flyer heads. Steven was just this nice man with a beard who kept wanting to talk to me. And I didn't really know why. And he was showing me the sets for Hook. And originally he kind of wanted me to be in that, and it didn't happen. So he said, "Don't worry, Joey, I'll get you in a movie this summer." And that movie happened to be Jurassic Park. So we didn't know I didn't know anything. It was just like kind of make-believe and magical, and the dinosaurs, and an amazing cast. And before you knew it, everyone in the world knew who we were. It was that fast, and it was very unexpected. I think the first week we were up against Last Action Hero, and we weren't sure what was going to be number one, if it was us or Last Action Hero, and then suddenly Jurassic was number one for the next 1,000 movies or something.
So, as I told you, this is the first convention appearance together with them. So, how cool is it? And I can tell you, so Steph, you see, who's dressed just like me, but 1/3 my size, when they announced Joe, she was like, because she's a huge Jurassic Park fan, she's like, oh my goodness, if only Deej could get Ariana and you can have the reunion of the kids from Jurassic Park. How cool would that be? And then a couple weeks later, he got her on there, and how big is that? That this crowd gets to have the reunion of these two kids that would never been on the stage again. So I'm going to ask the two of you, what kind of relationship, kind of bond did you guys have being the kids? I mean, when you watch that movie, you're like, okay, this is a movie that's going to be about adults, and we know the adults that are in there. But you guys have a ton of screen time. You guys are the second act and further into that movie. You guys are pretty much have as much screen time as anybody else. Did you guys? How did you lean on each other? Did you lean on each other? Did you have a good relationship? Did you guys need each other? What kind of relationship did you guys have when you were on the set together?
Well, I remember our first scene that we ever had, and it was one of those ice water dips because we just met and we had just gotten to the set of Jurassic on Hawaii. And there's this scene with the electric fence, and my brother Timmy, it looks like he's dead, and I'm having to get into character. It was a really emotional moment where I'm crying my eyes out about my brother, who I just met on the set. And so that I had to really act that day. It was a little different than what Joe had to do, pretending to be dead. But no, that was acting too. but seriously, what you were saying about our relationship as brother or sister, seriously, it was like you were such a brother, even when we weren't filming. Okay, I have a story for you. So Joe was such a bad influence, he had me sticking clothespins on the other cast members' costumes. And this happened for weeks on the set. It went on for weeks and weeks. And our main targets were Sam Neill and Jeff Goldblum. So we were an absolute nightmare for continuity. But I have to tell you, I learned a very important life lesson from this. We were never caught. It was so worth it. I would do it all again.
So basically what you're saying is when we've seen clothespins around Spookala, that we know who did it and who instigated it? What about you, Joseph? What did you feel about the relationship that the two of you guys had during that time?
I'd actually really like to switch seats with you because I can't be this close. we had such an amazing time. It was a family affair. Like, both our families were there the whole time. So my brother and sister were there, her sister, and we were just having a blast. Like, basically every day we would be playing make-believe on set, and then we would get home, usually right before sunset, so that we could go boogie boarding outside of our hotel in Kauai. And so we would just try to catch the waves, like, for another hour. We were swimming in that pool the whole time. We would play, when we got to LA, we were playing board games all the time in the trailers. Like, we were literally just hanging out the whole time. Like, I know it is a movie with adults in it. We kind of forgot that. Like, it just kind of felt like this thing that we were kind of doing, especially when we got to do the kitchen scene, because that was 2 weeks together, where it was just the two of us. It was just you and me and Steven, and kind of like that was like that inner group. I'm kind of doing it together, and there's no one else I could have imagined doing it with Ariana. I mean, we just had such a wonderful time, and I think it shows. I think it shows in the movie that there was something special there.
That was a great, great moment. Oh, thank you so much, Joe. That's really, really, really special. And it's special for me too. I have some amazing memories. And that scene in the kitchen, it had to be my favorite one to film as well. And it just, so many aspects about the experience, just being in that kitchen, creating that scene. I still can't believe it took 2 weeks to create it, but it was a great 2 weeks.
I just remembered something. When Halloween happened while we were shooting, we went as our characters out for Halloween before the movie came out. So we would like go around Toluca Lake in LA, and people would be like, "Who are you guys?" And you're like, "You'll see." And they did. And also, we would go sometimes when we had like a long lunch and we were shooting on the Universal lot. Well, that's where Universal Studios is in LA. We would just like, they would open the gate for us and we would like go on some rides, like, again, like in our makeup, looking crazy. They would call it a field trip, and that would be a part of our schooling. So like, we literally just hanging out literally all the time.
We had the best school, didn't we? It was so much fun. It was
I learned a lot.
It was kind of an unschool, and I still remember my math book was covered in the blood makeup.
Mine was covered in real blood.
All right, so BD, so your character is an important part in Jurassic Park, but you don't get as much screen time. Your character doesn't have as much screen time as it does in Jurassic World. How did you feel when we got to Jurassic World and you got to be more of an integral part of the script on Jurassic World?
I was I like Ariana. I had been told to read the book before auditioning for the movie, and I was really psyched to be up for this great, huge role that was in the book. And then I was booked for one day on the movie, and that created a whole I remember I asked to read the script that wasn't readable. They told me that I had to go to Spielberg's office and sit in the waiting room and read it and give it back. So they let me read it. But that is when I found out that I indeed was working only one day on this character that I thought was a much greater opportunity. So when Colin Trevorrow reinvestigated the character for the Jurassic World trilogy, I had been bitter for 23 years. The character having been slighted, that's how I felt. And felt incredibly, validated or seen or something, on behalf of the character. I felt, finally he gets a voice of some kind or other. And that has really felt really good. It's been a big part of a big sense of peace in my career, actually.
That's good. So I guess it's good that, after 23 years of that, now you can be up on stage with fellow members of your Jurassic fraternity and enjoy the experience, because I would assume that bitterness has kind of gone away. Now it's about...
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I didn't want you to think that.
No. Now it's all about positivity, being able to go and read.
It is. It's extremely positive. It's all of one mind, right? It's all like a healed thing to me.
So, and with you only being on set for one day in Jurassic Park, I would assume that you and Joseph and Ariana weren't ever together at all, even backstage during the film.
I don't think so. I don't even know if we met at the premiere.
I don't think so.
We met at the premiere of Jurassic World.
Yes, that was the first time we met.
Then we met at the season 4 premiere of Mr. Robot.
Yes.
Yeah, that was where we first met, actually.
Yes, I absolutely. That was awesome. Wait, who are you? This grown-up person, right? And having to explain to me, that was, yeah.
So Joseph, in this movie, there's a lot of screaming and there's a lot of being covered in dirt. What did you think about you having to be in a sense of peril through so much time in the movie, in Jurassic Park?
Yeah, someone was pointing that out to me. I kind of forgot how much Tim goes through. He's electrocuted, he's crushed by a car, he's crushed by a car a second time, he's chased by dinosaurs. I got a little residual snot from the sneeze. He really goes through it. And I also had to eat some terrible lemon meringue pie, and I think that was the most dramatic. But I mean, the makeup and the blood and everything was fun. It was very crusty though. I remember trying to get into those clothes. They were always because they kept them dirty because they wanted to keep the continuity, So you would have to slip into them in the morning when it was all crackly, and then they would put more dirt on me or whatever. But actually, Steven always thought I was too clean. Every day, the first thing we do when we showed up on set was take my hair and just go. He hated how neat I looked. So I guess I had to learn to be dirtier.
All right, so I could ask a lot more questions up here, but in the interest of trying to get as many questions answered as possible, Steph's going to come back up to the microphone. We're going to do what we've done for the previous panels. We're going to try to get through as many of these as we can. The reason being that Steph's going to have the microphone is because if I said, hey, if you got a bunch of questions, come up to the mic, we know that the line is going to be to the parking lot. We've seen this happen before, and we know we need to have this thing done by a specific time, and we want as many questions asked as possible. So, Steph, that's right, you're going to go to our favorite questionnaire from Friday's panels. See, I remember you. So let them know what your name is.
Yeah, my name is Barbara.
And Barbara, what is your question? Who is it for?
My question is for BD.
For BD.
It's when, how how did you feel when you went from the good guy to the bad guy back to the good guy?
Well, that's like a dream, right? That's like an actor's dream, the opportunity. People often personalize the characters and feel bad for us when we have to do bad things, but we love doing bad things. We want to do bad things. And the redemption of a person who's done bad things is the ultimate goal. If you are in a well-written role, the character's redemption is absolutely essential to your enjoyment and the audience's enjoyment and appreciation of the depth of that character. And so for them to have taken him down the road and back again was great for me. I loved it. I couldn't be happier about it. And as I said, it was the antidote to my bitterness about being left behind, being not acknowledged, having even left the island. You know, they were taking tally of all the people that had left the island, and they never even counted him as important enough to have had whether anybody cared or not. And then suddenly that kind of became a plus, because then he was salvageable for the trilogy. So thank you.
All right, thank you. So here's what we're going to do. Just save some people's arms. So right now, we're going to go to this side of the room. So if you're on this side, hold your arms. That way you don't have to worry about keeping your arm up all the time. So come up here on this side. Raise your hands. Steph's come up here. She's going to get a couple of questions. So why don't you go to the person with the pumpkin headband?
Pumpkin.
Hi, my name is Meg. I'm a big fan of the franchise. Question for all of you, because I feel like it doesn't get asked enough of adults, but what is your favorite dinosaur?
What's your favorite dinosaur to all three of you?
I mean, I think my favorite dinosaur is the Velociraptor, because she's my baby. Maybe we'll have a different point of view.
What's the spitter called? Dilophosaurus?
Dilophosaurus.
Yeah, the spitter. Yeah, I mean that's how we knew it on set. We didn't, we were familiar with each other, so we called him the spitter. I just love that moment in the movie, and kind of a hero because kills the bad guy. So I think there's a real redemption arc in the Dilophosaurus. And it was also, in its like terrifying nature, it's also really beautiful. It's like a scary peacock. How's that?
Unfortunately, BD, I think you stole the one I was going to mention. So I was going to mention Raptor, and that's my favorite. I guess because we had that infamous kitchen scene with the raptors. And didn't you get bumped into by one of the raptors, Joe?
Yeah, that's why I didn't choose the raptor, because it physically injured me. And I'm still bitter about that, so.
You could have said Dinobots. I mean, that's a cool dinosaur. Dinobots, man, Transformers, more than meets the eye. All right, so some more questions over here on the, why don't you get the ones close, right there, and then we're gonna go around, right there to the, right there, look right here.
Keep your hand up because I can't see.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hi, so this is for BD. It's not necessarily about Jurassic, but in iRobot, the leading in being able to do transgender cross. I'm sorry, I'm real nervous. Being able to lead a movement kind of thing, because that was a little bit before it's as cultural to be able to be trans. How did that feel? How did you like being able to do something like that and lead that?
Well, I mean, you're talking about kind of what it means for an actor to play a trans person in the history of our timeline, and like how that has changed since I did it. Is that what kind of what you're saying? Because that's what I would say if that's not what you're saying. It's always wonderful to be playing the most interesting and complex characters. This particular character, White Rose in Mr. Robot, happened to be a trans person, and so that was an aspect of her being that made the character interesting. I think the time for non-trans actors to be playing trans characters is past. And so I acknowledge that, and I guess I could say I was lucky that I was squeezing in at the very end of the as the door was closing, and that it was very meaningful to me to have that job. I took that job with a certain amount of trepidation, and then I just tried to run with it. I don't know. Thanks.
So steps out here on the far side. So let's get somebody out here on the edge on this side. Whoever you so choose.
Hi there. My question is for Joe. So in Jurassic World, they introduced the concept that half the world is pro saving dinosaurs, half the world is about letting the dinosaurs die out. Given Tim's experience, but also his love for dinosaurs, how would adult Tim feel about dinosaurs in the world? What would he want them to happen?
Boy, it would be nice to find out one day. What is it?
Seasoned veteran on the battle stage.
He might be of two minds because that was his passion and his love, but I'm sure it's also now his greatest fear and some kind of trauma that he'll have to work through in his life. And I think it would make for a very interesting character on that.
All right, so now we're going to go to this side of the room. So, Steph, find somebody on this side of the room that you want to put the mic up in their face and see what their question might be. All right, going to the man with the Stone Cold Steve Austin hat on over here.
Thank you. Great fan. Well, Jurassic Park for everybody else. But I was just curious, for Jurassic Park, now, did you guys get to take home like any props or anything cool from Jurassic Park? Is there something?
Did you guys get to take up any props or anything cool from any of the movies?
Yeah, I got I guess it was an original model Raptor. I still have. It's like yay big-ish, and I keep it in my house. I transported it when I moved across the country. Somehow I didn't break it, thankfully, and it is absolutely one of my most prized possessions. It's super amazing to have that, and it's such a wonderful reminder of the very cool thing that we got to do.
That's really special. So sometimes I'm kicking myself for not trying to bring my wardrobe back with me. I never took anything cool from this set like that.
I'm surprised you didn't bring home any of your clothespins.
That's right. That would have been a good memento, right?
What about you, BD?
I got nothing but 23 years of bitterness. I took the back of my chair home. That was about it.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
All right, so Steph, I think you had somebody already pegged for the next question.
All right, before my question, Joseph, I already said thank you to Ariana and BD Wong earlier because y'all were all inspirations for Jurassic Park to my now career, helping with the Raptor Center in Tampa Bay, working with modern raptors. So I work with bald eagles, owls, hawks, and whatnot, and it's just been an honor, like being able to take a passion from dinosaurs to modern animals. But to continue to the question, all the animatronics I know like are so realistic from what I could tell. Like, how was it being like face to face with the T-Rex and the raptors, even to the hatching of the baby raptor in the lab for BD Wong?
So the question was, how was it being face to face with the lifelike, as far as we know, lifelike animatronics? How was it being face to face with those when you were on set?
Well, I wasn't, so I should.
Yeah, I mean, it was really cool. It was kind of like life imitating art where our characters are disappointed that they don't see any dinosaurs for a while, and we didn't see any for a while. We were like, where are these things? I thought we were making a dinosaur movie. And then when they finally came around, it was, of course, spectacular. I remember one time Steven taking us out of school and being like, hey, another field trip. We love those. And taking us just to show us the T-Rex in kind of all its glory. The T-Rex was never really full, it was mostly in pieces, but once you kind of got in the space of where you're shooting, all you could see was the lifelike animal. And it was amazing. One of the coolest things I think was when we did the kitchen scene, because in that one we saw every way they could have had a dinosaur on set. It was on set there. Like there was the ones where, like, if you look behind the counter, it was like 21 people doing every little thing. Like someone was just controlling the nostrils, someone was just controlling the eyelids, and it was like a symphony where they all had to do it in unison together. So it had to be seamless and perfect. We had people actually in suits for that. We had CGI for that. We had one that was basically on a shopping cart for that. So they were just kind of like, we got to see kind of every single possible way that they were going to bring this magic to life in those 2 weeks. So I feel like, for me, that was the most special moment. But man, it's crazy. Like they had like a model, and they would like move the tail, and then suddenly the big tail would move. It was Stan Winston. Those guys are just geniuses beyond compare.
Yeah, I think Joe and I were always hanging out with Stan Winston and John Rosengrant and just annoying them, basically, and asking them, how does this work? Show me how the toe works. I want to see it move. And Stan was always so sweet. I mean, he was the late and great Stan Winston. We will always miss him.
Good stuff. Okay, give me another couple questions here. Let's do it over here with the glasses on right there. Yeah.
Earlier, you guys told that lady over there what your favorite dinosaurs were. The whole point of the movie is modifying the dinosaurs. How do you change those dinosaurs? Like, how would you genetically modify them, and what would you call the new dinosaur?
If you could genetically modify one of your dinosaurs, what would you do to genetically modify it, and what would you call it? That's a big time question.
Declaw them.
He was thinking that you guys were going to be like, they would have 7 heads and 10 horns, and I would call it this show.
Docile.
I like them just the way they are. No, I don't know what I would do. What would you change? What's to change? The whole point was more TV. The point is to have, I'm trying, being a method actor now, that the point was to kind of recreate, to allow humans to walk the earth with dinosaurs, and to give that authentic experience to people. It all went awry, but that's okay. And so I always felt as the character that a sense of that part of that conflict was a sense of whether or not one strayed from the reality of that or not.
So there's no close Minnesota?
Oh, that is quite a question. I think after Lex is traumatized by this entire experience, I just can't imagine she wants to bring one back to life and then clone it. It's just not happening.
All right, so both sides, let's see if we get a couple more questions here. Steph, pick somebody.
Hi everyone, my name is Daniela. It's not a question, I just wanted to say thank you to all of you for being such a big part of my childhood, such a big part of my life. I was a very sickly child and very lonely, and you guys really helped me go through it all the medical treatments, and I'm starting starting a career as a voice actor now, thanks to the inspiration that all of you gave me. So that's just what I want to say. Thank you so much for being there.
Congratulations on your voice acting.
All right, so turn around. There's the lady right there in front of you with the white rim glasses.
Hi, my name is Carrie, and this is a question for BD. First off, I just need to say a little bit of something. When I was in high school, I saw clips of you in Butterfly, and that was part of the reason I got a theater degree. You were inspirational to me as an actor, and I have followed your career. I remember seeing you in Jurassic Park and going, oh my God, it's BD Wong. And I followed your career through SVU and Gotham and all these amazing things. And you are incredible, sir. I just want to say that. But I would like to know how you found your years on SVU, because I loved you on SVU.
How'd you find your years on SVU? How did you find your time on SVU?
Oh my gosh. Well, it was, I mean, I have a really wide range of feelings about SVU, and one of them is that I am incredibly grateful for the exposure. It just skyrocketed my exposure to a whole other level than it had ever been at before, from Dick Wolf and from his faith in me and giving me that job. That job was really meaningful to me because I was a new dad right when I got that contract. I wanted to stay in New York. I didn't want to come traveling, going to LA, and I wanted to be home with my family. And so I was able to sign a contract to be a series regular on a hit show that lasted me for 11 years and was extremely incredible in the timeline of my life. That was just incredible. Compared to the work that I've done in the theater, that some of it that you mentioned, it paled in comparison as a creative experience. It just did. It always will, and it always will be that for me. Like, the difference between television and the live theater is a really great one. I was perfectly happy doing it because of all of the things that I mentioned, and because it was a rich experience culturally and for a lot of really good reasons. But it's a very different acting thing, right? It's all the mediums are also different from one another. The techniques are also different from one another, and exploring them, if you're lucky to be able to explore all the different types of acting that there are, it's a really lucky thing, and it allows you to grow and change and do the best work possible. So I'm super grateful for it. Thank you.
So real quick, so is my guy out here that's wearing the Team Wong shirt? Where's the Team Wong shirt here? Where's the guy with the Team Wong shirt? If he's here, stand up.
No, I guess he bailed.
No way.
He bailed.
Team Wong shirt's not here, man. I told him if he was here, we were gonna shout him out because he walked over to our table in that shirt. Like, dude, Steph was like, that's pretty awesome, man. All right, so let's see if we get one or two more questions. What about the dude with the dinosaur hand up here? All right, this question and then one more, and then we'll go from there. So the dinosaur at the hand is the one who has to ask the question.
It's so nice to see you guys all here, all at the same time. Down here in Florida, of all places, thank you guys so much for making the trek out. I do have one question for the entire panel. In any of the movies, because BD, you're in all the Jurassic World movies, was there any scenes that you guys shot that didn't make it into the final cut that you would like to see again?
Any scenes that you guys have shot that didn't make it into the final cut that you wish would have made it there?
It's going to be a boring, quick answer. No. There's nothing. I don't think there was any full scene on the cutting room floor that we were supposed to be in.
No, I mean,
We were so great. They couldn't possibly cut anything.
That's right. Us on the cutting room floor? Come on.
All right, so let's get one more question from out there. What about the guy in the
Sam Neill hat?
The Sam Neill hat?
That's Dr. Grant.
I'm sorry, Dr. Grant hat. So make this the best question in the history of the Jurassic Park panel.
Firstly, my name's Shane. Thank you guys for dedicating your time and coming down here. You guys also inspired me to pursue a career in environmentalism and conservation, so thank you. And my question is for Joseph and Ariana. The last time we saw you guys' characters was in the very beginning of The Lost World with Jeff Goldblum. Where do you think your characters went from there? Did Tim go on to study paleontology?
I feel like there's like some, what's the word, canon for this out there? I feel like there's like something that has taken, I don't know, either comic books or somewhere where like they say kind of what happened to Tim. What do I think happened to Tim? I mean, we were talking about this, like they are the heirs to, you know, John Hammond's fortune, right? And there's got to be something there that has been passed down, even if the company goes somewhere else, that like they have some connection to it. And I would have to imagine that Tim has found his way into this world and hopefully as a hero, not a villain, trying to do something to, you know, maintain, I guess I don't know, the order, because it's gotten chaotic, but also like preserve what was so amazing about the dinosaurs coming back in the first place, and I don't know, maybe trying to find some way to still make it work for dinosaurs to safely coexist with humans. That's my guess. I don't know. Like I said, I'd love to see something.
I don't think any of us will know for sure right now. A bunch of fans, I think, have come up with some great scenarios, I imagine, but I think that Lex and Tim became pretty close after going through that experience on the island, so they had a good friendship, and they probably grew up working together on whatever project was meaningful to them. I can imagine Lex probably stayed involved with computers. That had to happen, but who knows exactly where it all led.
Yeah, I think Tim maybe wrote a book about it. I think.
So this is interesting that you asked this question, because I had a question that was pretty much the opposite of what you just asked, and I'm going to ask them right now. If you could take your characters in a complete non-canon fashion and take your two characters into a spin-off, doing whatever the heck you want. You can be vampire hunters, you can be superheroes, you can be doing whatever kind of nonsense. Boom, right now, what would you guys do with Tim and Lex, vampire hunters, superheroes, whatever, what would you guys do?
No, you're not giving this one to me. You go first.
I did joke while I was doing Gotham that Hugo Strange became, you know, was the result of what happened to Dr. Henry Wu. That Dr. Henry Wu became Professor Hugo Strange and then started modifying people's bodies and ended up in the art asylum and, you know, did all those terrible things out of whatever. Creativity, you know, a need to be creative.
I have no idea. He'd be an accountant.
That sounds like a comic book everybody's looking to read.
And you said this was going to be an easy interview.
Maybe multiple choice or something.
Multiple choice. Do you want to be a vampire hunter, superhero, or do you want to be vampire themselves?
Superhero, come on.
Yeah, as long as we get to wear capes, that sounds good.
No capes, superhero. All right, here we go. All right, so we come to the end of the panel because we want to make sure that everything stays on track. However, we all know there's one thing we have to do before this is over, and that is we have to summon the show photographer Corey, right? So on the count of three, we all need to summon Corey so you can come up here and take a picture of us with the entire crowd. So on the count of three, ready? 1, 2, 3. Corey! It was Velocicory. Let's get up here. All right, so want to make sure you guys, we're going to ask you guys to give them a big round of applause here in a minute. But before you do so, we want to make sure you guys know we got great entertainment coming up. Soon you have the Cherry Bombs, you have Tyler Posey, and then you have Corey Taylor. So Tyler Posey and Corey Taylor both doing acoustic sets. Tyler Posey, if you guys didn't hear earlier, is not named Tyler Posey is leaving today with his guitar. There are raffle tickets at Tyler Posey's booth you can go pick up. And he is going to raffle that off at the end of his set. So if you don't have a ticket, you want to go over and get that because somebody's leaving with his guitar today. It's not Tyler Posey. That's right, it's somebody else. So, with that being said, let's give the biggest, best first panel ever for these guys, Spookala.